The Denmark Water Dilemma. Bamberg County is located in South Carolina. It is the third smallest county in the state, and it has 15.4 thousand people. In 2016, Bamberg County had the highest long-term unemployment rate of 10.8% in the state. They often express that their lack of industry in the area is due to their lack of water infrastructure, where they do not have the capacity and quality of water to supply the companies or the water treatment facilities that they need. In order to remediate this issue, the county has been trying to implement a regional water system, which has had issues getting off of the ground, in part that the mayor of Denmark does not want to join the plan and wishes to maintain its own system despite their challenges. Denmark is the second largest city in Bamberg County with a population of roughly 3,400 people. They have a poverty rate of 54.1% and a median household income of little over $19,000 a year. Paula and Eugene are a couple in their 70s who have been at the heart of the water issues in Denmark for almost a decade. They first began questioning the quality of their water in 2008 when Miss Paula observed discolored water coming from their taps. She grabbed a jar and filled it with water so that she could show Eugene when he returned home. They were alarmed when they realized that it smelled like sewage. Over the next few years, they would observe changes in their health through skin rashes, hair loss, increased levels of lead and manganese in their blood, in addition to extreme staining of their laundry and many bathroom fixtures. Despite complaining to the city council meetings, complaining to the mayor in city council meetings, their pleas about the water and among those of other citizens were ignored, and they were told their water was fine. Paula and Eugene have called the state representative, SCDHEC, Bamberg County, and a lawyer for help with their water in Denmark. In addition to seeking help, Miss Paula has even called the local radio station, Big Dog Radio, every day since 2009 to warn people about the bad water in Denmark. And they are also the people who called Dr. Mark Edwards and our team. Paula and Eugene's story is unique in that in addition to calling people, over the past several years, they have collected over 40 samples of discolored smelly water from their taps that are labeled with dates and times of when they were collected. This green binder was given to our team, and it is filled with newspaper articles, council meeting minutes, blood test results, city sanitary surveys, and many other water-related artifacts that they have collected over the years. Paula and Eugene also drive roughly 20 minutes to God's Acres Healing Spring to get their water. This is an image of their pantry, which is filled with jugs of Healing Spring water that they use for drinking, cooking, washing their hair, and sometimes bathing. To me, the strongest symbol that represents this case study is a jar. Paula and Eugene label the jars in their home with dates and times, but depending on where the jar is located, the jar holds other labels. If the jar is in their living room, it holds their fears, their struggles, their sorrows, their sickness, their burdens, and is the only evidence or proof that they have to show that something is wrong. If the jar is in their pantry, it is labeled with their livelihood, their safety, their survival, and the only solution they have for dealing with their water. As an engineer, the scariest reality about this jar is that no matter if it is in their living room or in their pantry, they are both filled with their hope. I could tell this story from many vantage points. I could tell it from an infrastructure inequality point of view, where we can acknowledge that unfortunately there are small towns across the country facing these same issues of expensive bad water. I could tell the intricate story of the city of Denmark's issues with water. I could tell the immaculate story of Paula and Eugene's plight with the water. But I chose to focus on how Mark Edwards and the water study team fits into this story. Because by calling the teams, the citizens not only have put their hopes in the jars, they have placed their hope in the hands of Virginia Tech.
So they crooked. So you catch on what I'm saying? They crooks. I got a story.
You do?
I can sit and talk to you for 2 hours about this town around here. about these people.
Mm-hmm. Miss Paula is right about that. If there were a documentary made about the story of Denmark, there would be no need for any Hollywood flair because the story of Denmark is intricate enough. The story of Denmark includes things like their contaminated well, the indictment of an ex-mayor, lead in their water tower, in addition to their brown water, maintenance issues, negligence, lots of funding money. They have had threats, they've had some people fired, they have a lot of secrecy, and they also have a mayor who seemingly was very helpful in working with this case study and helping the water study team move forward, but he gave us permission to test the water 3 times and declined. So working with the mayor of Denmark has not been the easiest thing when it comes to him keeping his word. And that is also something that has been very aggravating for the citizens.
$30 million in this town. Do you know they ain't did nothing? But they got 72 violations against them. They ain't did nothing. And the attorney general hadn't even signed off nothing. And Miss Rose, the lady that helped her, she sent a lot of evidence, paperwork to the state. Do you know they mailed it back to her?
The VT Water Study team, led by Dr. Mark Edwards, is most known for their work in Flint, Michigan, where they helped a local stay-at-home mom, Miss Leanne Walters, investigate the cause of discolored water and lead poisoning of her kids and the rest of the city of Flint. This work revealed one of the greatest environmental injustices of modern history in the United States. Despite the accolades and praise the team received for helping the citizens, they also received a lot of criticisms for their involvement. A lot of these criticisms come from the field of engineering and academia, where some do not believe the team should have gone to Flint and just allowed for the citizens to fight this battle on their own. Dr. Edwards stands by the notion that if the goal was to protect the children of Flint, there was no other way to achieve the goal faster than they did. And the criticisms their colleagues have against what they did in Flint don't measure up to protecting the safety of the children. These criticisms focus on what the team should or should not have done, and so I wanted to investigate what our role is in this story of Denmark as academics, as engineers, and as outsiders in this community. I set out to investigate what do the citizens think our role is, what do they expect us to do, and what are our boundaries of what we will and will not do. Are we just there to test the water or give a voice to the voiceless, but while keeping in mind motives, the consequences of providing false hope, truth-seeking, and fairness? Through this case study, I realized that our role, first and foremost, is to listen. These citizens have been ignored for a long time and been just reduced to the crazy people who are always complaining about the water. Through listening, we were able to get a better understanding of Paula and Eugene's stories on why they felt so strongly about the water issues and the corruption of their government, which ultimately revealed that there is something going on in the city of Denmark. We just have not been able to get enough information to prove it. Our role is also to understand the background and context of the issue. If we did not seek to understand the background and context of the issues in Denmark, we would have just assumed that the way to solve the problem was just to sample. But Denmark is already known for poor water, and the issues with their water in Denmark happen to be highly political, especially with regulations and what the state and county can and cannot do, where they had no authority to make the mayor allow us to sample the schools or the wells, even though they believed that we should have. They also did not have any authority to help us dig into the problems in Denmark further. Our role is also to test their hypothesis. As scientists, we have the ability to back up our claims with evidence, which is the reason why, as experts, we are trusted. Evidence provides weight to claims you are making. Paula and Eugene have made claims about their water for years, but have had few opportunities to provide evidence for their claims. For example, Eugene expressed concern that there being raw sewage in the creek next to the local playground near the wastewater treatment facility. Despite Despite the claim seeming outlandish, Mark went to take a sample of the creek's water, and the results confirmed that raw sewage was leaching into the creek. By having a test result to accompany the claim, Eugene's claim has more weight to it. We have to test whatever claims can be proven or disproven with science, no matter our beliefs, because the information ultimately strengthens the arguments of the citizens. Lastly, we must build the capacity of the citizens. We must teach them the rules of what can and cannot be done in respect to water quality, because unfortunately discolored, smelly, bad water is not illegal in this country. But we can inform them of the loopholes cities use to avoid testing or which documents to request in their FOIAs. We ultimately hit a wall in Denmark where our team could not afford to expend additional resources in the town without an ability to sample. So with our withdrawal, we were pleased to see that the citizens got their second wind and they were determined to bring this issue to light themselves. As we were saying goodbye, they corrected us and told us that it is more so a see you later, that our team will be back in Denmark because they will have uncovered the truth. I do expect to hear from them again, and when the story does come to light, we will be proud to show that they saved their own day. They have already seen change and an awakening happening across the town, where citizens are becoming more comfortable speaking out against the water, and they are even saving their water like Miss Brown. With all these roles as engineers, when faced with situations such as these, we have to do something because there are citizens across the country that have their hope in jars like these.
And the lady come up to me and she talked to me. She said she knew who I was because she knew my family. She said, Miss Brown, you think they're going to do something about the water one day? She said, you know, everybody around said they're not going to do anything. I said, I got faith. Some card there. I said, I got faith. I said, they're going to do something about the water. I feel it. And I told her, I don't find out that who I can talk to now.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her. I said, I found somebody who I can talk to, and I know they can get the water straightened out here.
Yeah.
Get this town uplifted because some of the people don't believe.
Thank you for your time.